told me, they were like, Japanese people unfortunately do not care that much about local culture. They want something from outside. Hinase, now when I talk about it, I always say our, because I feel like I'm part of it as well. Me, a French person in this countryside, they're just so happy to have someone that listens. Foreigners, after coming to Japan, maybe especially 1, 2, 3, 4 times, maybe they want to see something a little more, I don't want to say it's not authentic to go to Osaka, but
Hey there, and thank you for tuning in. We're excited to bring you another great conversation today. If you like the show and want to support us, please hit the subscribe button so we can keep bringing you great content week after week. And if you're feeling extra generous, give this video a like and share your thoughts and comments down below. Thank you so much. And now, let's get into it. Welcome to Unpacking Japan. I'm Toby, and today we welcome Victoria. Thank you so much for coming.
thank you for inviting me.
You work in many things, but they can kind of all fall under the category of sustainable tourism in Bizen, in Okayama, where you promote the local area, local culture, local shops, and museums, and more. And I'm very curious about how life is in Bizen and in Okayama. I don't think we've had anyone who's based there. So I want to kind of start at the beginning and ask you a little bit, what brought you to Japan and how did you end up in Okayama?
You're right. Well, first of all, I think just like a lot of people from our generation and from France, I grew up on anime, video games, all the pop culture of Japan. So first of all, I loved it. So I always knew I wanted to go to Japan, but I didn't think I would live there at some point. I just thought, I'd love to visit there sometimes. And then I met my partner who's Japanese, and I met him in France. And he was like, before even we started dating, was like, you should definitely try to go. I'll help you with a visa if you want to go there. And well, yeah, I didn't think I could. I don't know. I didn't know much about the visas. I didn't have much money either. So I thought maybe not for me. But anyway, I went there, and it was in 2019, end of 2019, and Corona happened. So instead of staying 1 year with my working holiday visa, I ended up staying, now it's my 5th year. Yeah.
So your first plan when you came was like working holiday. So not just going for a quick trip, but like, okay, I'll spend a year in Japan.
Yeah, I really wanted to. So I used to study sociology and anthropology, and I knew I wanted to know more about the culture than just traveling. Also, I think it gives you just more time to see more places, although I couldn't because of Corona. But ideally, I didn't want it to be just a trip where I spend a lot of money and I rush and see everything. I just wanted to learn more about culture, possibly pick up a few Japanese words, I thought. And yeah, I really wanted to do that.
When people do the working holiday visa, some of them, they like to go to many places and just mostly travel and maybe do small jobs here and there to earn a little bit of money. And others like to spend a long time in one location and work maybe on a farm or something rural or local hostel. What was your intention back then?
So my partner he was born in Okayama, but he spent most of his time in Hiroshima where he was studying. And I heard a lot about Hiroshima. I had friends also who had been to Hiroshima, and it sounded so fun and very different from other areas that are famous. Sure, now there's a lot of tourists in Hiroshima, but compared to Osaka and Tokyo, still it's kind of unknown as it is. And so I was really looking forward to go to Hiroshima and discover the culture there. And I was mostly looking to stay there more than travel around. There were a few reasons for that, but the first one was I might have lied on my resume to come, and I didn't have that much money. I thought I would just work in Hiroshima as like in hostels and stuff like that, and then travel around. But I really wanted my base to be in Hiroshima, learn about the culture, and especially in a city that's full of history such as Hiroshima.
You hadn't been to Japan before, and you kind of said you grew up watching anime and so on. So people have a tendency to maybe get an image of Japan and then the reality. What was it like for you when you first arrived?
I think at that time I got a bit away from the pop culture for a while. I was actually not caring that much anymore about manga, anime, still video games a little bit, but my image was already not like, people idealize Japan. They think it's probably this perfect country that's going to make your whole life better. I didn't, because I studied sociology and I'm very interested in society kind of problems or those subjects. I was researching a lot about Japan, and I actually had not such a good image of Japan in a way. I thought about gender inequality. I thought about how work was probably very hard, the culture. So, but at the same time, my partner was like, I know that all of it is true, but at the same time, there are so many other parts that you should definitely discover and see for yourself, and you might be inspired in a way. And yeah, I think it was definitely inspiring in many ways to see the actual, not just an image and not just videos of people acting in a way for tourists, but just people living in general in the society. That was definitely life-changing, I would say.
So when you got here, you kind of went straight to Hiroshima and started working already then?
So I was looking for a job in hostels, but then Corona happened. Everything was closed. No one was recruiting. I panicked because I couldn't find a job. And I didn't know there was this whole thing with foreigners working as English teachers in Japan. I had no idea. You have to know, I didn't really have Instagram at the time. I wasn't watching much YouTube. I wasn't following any people who was doing content about Japan. I was very unprepared, just my image from articles and those things. And that was it. So I didn't know what kind of job I could do. But then I found this job as an English teacher in a kindergarten, and I started to work there. Worked there for a whole year. And then I worked at this school called YMCA in Hiroshima as well, as an English teacher for adults and children.
Corona happened, you kind of were stuck here in a way, but that also gave you the opportunity to extend your stay and explore beyond Hiroshima.
Yeah.
You ended up working for the Rural Revitalization Program in Okayama.
Yeah.
Can you tell me about how you found that opportunity and the move to Okayama?
Right. So at first, I had planned to go back to France, and my partner was going to study there. But then, so we used to go to Bizen quite often. Like I said, he was born there. His family is in Bizen as well. So we used to go there during vacation, holidays. They live on an island called Kashirajima in Bizen. So we used to go there all the time. It's beautiful. And then we heard of this opportunity to have a villa. So there was a guy from Osaka. He had a vacation house on Kashirajima, and it was beautiful. But unfortunately, he got cancer, and he needed to sell it. And he knew my partner's grandmother. They were not friends, but they knew each other. And so he really wanted to sell it to someone he could trust because he had carbs there. I mean, whole very traditional Japanese place. And I was like, not sure. What do we do with this villa? We could do a business, but I don't know anything about business. I've never studied about it. I don't know. But when we saw the place, I knew it was going to be like, okay, I want this place. It's beautiful. And then at the same time, my visa, so I was on working holiday rights, and it got extended, but you can't just extend it forever. And at the time, you could definitely go back to your country. There were planes, there were everything. And I still hadn't changed to work visa. So I was looking for work, and I heard about this from my partner who was like, so I found this opportunity. It's called revitalization, and it seems interesting. You're going to be completely alone doing this job. Like, it's very, you decide of whatever you want to do. That's going to be a help for the community. But I think you might like it. And so I checked it out, and I applied, and I went to an interview at the city hall.
Is this an opportunity? We've had a couple of guests on the podcast that have done this in different areas of Japan.
Yeah.
But was it something where you saw the city advertise it, or is this like from a national board and you can choose where you want to apply for?
It was the city. Yeah, it was on the city hall website that you could apply. Yeah. And I didn't even check. I just called and I was like, can I have an interview, please? And I just went there.
What was the process like then? Still, Japan not fully reopened, slowly but surely kind of coming out of COVID. And this city wants to promote tourism in this local area. What was the interview like, and what were they looking for?
So basically, in the interview, they didn't say it was for tourism. Revitalization is just, it can be anything, basically. It depends on your skills and what you can bring. You arrive and you say, I'm good in IT field, so I can help you with websites. I can help you with anything IT. Or if you have ideas about how to bring more young people, children, families, which is important right now in Japan, then you can come and say that. And I came and I suggested, why not tourism? I don't have any experiences, but I was like, I'm a foreigner. I might know what they would look for. And at first it was very, I don't know if it's just Bizen or if it's very like normal for those interviews, but we were in the break room and there were a few people of the branch of tourism. And they were very relaxed. They were just like, so why Bizen? What do you like about the place? What would you like to do? And could you do SNS for us? And I was like, yes. And one of them was like, but like you said, we're not open yet. And we're not really looking to have a lot of people come and bring kind of COVID here. So what do you think about that? And I explained like, that is a now problem, but you have to think about the future, right? Like in the 2-3 years, probably everything will be reopened and Japan will need tourists, I think, especially in rural areas. And I'll be there for that. So I think that convinced them a little bit. And it was in Japanese, and my Japanese was far from being great at the time, but I tried my best. And if you want to know, at the end of the interview, they had like a little pamphlet in French, and they were like, can you read this? I was like, sure.
Make sure you're actually French or
like,
speak
no,
French.
I think they just wanted to hear French because they've never probably met a French person before. Like very countryside people, they've never been out. I'm not saying it in a bad way, just like very cute. So they were like, can you read it? And I just did. And at the end they were like, oh, that's amazing. Like I'm French, but yeah, it was very cute.
So you get the job, and then suddenly you kind of by yourself. You said it's a job where you don't really have a manager. You have to create everything for yourself, and you had no experience in tourism. So first day on the job, what do you do?
I was lost. I had no idea what to do. But they have several events, and I promised that I would create an SNS account and I would promote local events and talk about it in English. So I go to the first event, was called C2 Summit. It's like a triathlon where they do like sea kayak, hiking and cycling.
That sounds like fun. That's something I would do.
Yeah, I'm sure it's fun. It's very hot though, so you have to be careful. But yeah, it was really fun. And I'm not actually doing the triathlon, but I'm filming it. I'm taking pictures, and then I'm trying to promote the whole thing. But again, I don't know who to ask for information. I'm a bit shy at the time as well. So I'm scared of saying something wrong because of, again, my level of Japanese too. But yeah, I just go to those events, and then I start going to local restaurant, cafe, anything, just to have content to promote it. And at the same time, I'm checking at people who are doing something similar as what I want to do so that I can get inspired to know what to do.
Is this, because this is an official position, you work with a city, are you able to kind of go to those restaurants, go to those events and be like, hey, I work for the city, I'm promoting this, and get like, I don't know, like a press pass or like access to things? Or
Yeah, definitely. Sometimes, yeah. First of all, they give you, so you have a budget. You have a budget for 1 year of the whole revitalization, like as a contract, sorry. And then you have to make your own budget for 3 months every time. You do 3 months, you make your little papers explaining why you need that budget, what you're going to use it for, and then you can pay with these things, even when it's restaurant and cafe, as long as you get like a receipt at the end that says it was for an interview. So first of all, I don't have to pay or anything. It's just paid by the city hall, as long as I really post it, of course, as long as I do what I'm saying that I'm doing. And yeah, sometimes they're like, oh yeah, you can come. Like for example, oysters. I'm promoting the oysters because they're very famous in Bizen, in Japan, but not abroad. And they're so good. And so for that, I was like, can I get into the production? I want to see how it's going inside. And if I'm explaining who I am, they immediately let me go.
Not immediately, I can sense, but...
No, I was going to say, it's not like that. It's like, even if I didn't say I'm from the city hall, sometimes I feel like just me, a French person, arriving in this countryside, the way that I look. I think mostly they're like, just get in. They're just so happy to have someone that listens and who is interested, that they're like, and who speaks Japanese, because their face is like, who are you? Like, I had people, I'm not joking, asking me, are you Lady Gaga or are you Madonna? Like, what do you mean? Because they're so isolated from the world, especially elderly. They don't know. So they're like, are you a famous person? Are you here to do like a shooting or something? I'm like, no. And then I explain that I'm from the city hall. And they're like, oh, I see. And yeah, they just let you go anywhere. They're happy to introduce it to you.
So you're certainly quite independent and you get to explore Bizen and you need to promote it. Yeah. It's the region where your partner is from. What's so special about Bizen? What should people know about Bizen and use as a reason to go and explore by themselves?
I think Bizen is very interesting because, first of all, it used to be a country. They used to call it Bizen no Kuni. It was just the region, but the region was really big. I couldn't even tell you like every part that was part of it, but it was really, really big. And it was really interesting because they have, first of all, ceramic that's 800 years old. It's really old. And you have many ceramics in Japan that are traditional and done in a traditional way. But Bizen-yaki, it's called Bizen-yaki, and it's one of the only ones that's still made exactly the same way
Really?
as before. Yes, they still use the same kilns, like it's fired for 7 to 10 days, and still using the same wood as well. They use red pine as much as they can, obviously. And the villages are almost same as before. You can still see some really, really old ruins of kilns in every places in Bizen, in Imbe, especially the area where it was the most famous for.
Mm-hmm.
And then you also have Shizutani School. It was the first school that was open for non-noble people in Japan, so for commoners.
Like just a regular school to learn the ABC, so to say, and
Not really.
Not really.
At the time, they were teaching Chinese philosophy.
Okay.
Confucianism. Sorry, I can't say it in English. I forgot, but basically more like moral values.
Mm-hmm.
But it was the first time that it was not just open for samurai or noble people. It was for almost everyone, except little girls. But it was officially, technically, the first public school in Japan.
Cool.
So that is also really interesting, and it's almost intact as well. It's the tiles are made of bizenware, which is so solid. So it's almost exactly the same as it looked like 350 years old, like before. And it's just so beautiful, but so unknown. You go there, there's no one. There's almost no one, which in a way it's great because you can really enjoy it.
Yeah.
But it's just such a waste in a way because you have so many people who want to tell the story, but no one to listen.
So Bizen is located just before Okayama city when you come from Osaka.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you've got parts of it is on land and then a few small islands that are kind of all interconnected with each other. And so much history from what you're saying. Yeah. What is it that you personally like the most there?
I think because I live on the island, I think it's Hinase. So you have Bizen, you have Okayama Prefecture, you have Bizen, and inside Bizen you have several areas. You have Imbe, that's the heart of the Bizenware, of the ceramic. And then you have Shizutani and Yoshinaga, that's where the school is. And then almost in Kansai, almost in Hyogo, you have Hinase, which used to be independent. So it's very different there, very different from the rest of Bizen. The dialect is different. The people are very different as well, I feel like. And they're mostly fishing villages there. And I just love it. I used to be vegan, almost vegan, and I moved there, and the fishermen, they're so happy to give you fish. They're like, this is fresh. I just caught it right there. Do you want it? I couldn't refuse. I'm like, of course, I eat it. It's amazing. It's so good. People are so nice. And yeah, I can't help but just love Hinase. It's just it's beautiful too. The landscapes are so beautiful as well. So
you were living in Hiroshima, which is a fairly large city in Japan, and suddenly you move on an island in Bizen. How was that change? I mean, when you go to island life, I imagine things are slower, things are less convenient. You're a little bit further from everything. You may need to take a boat to go to the convenience store.
So the island is connected by bridges, so it's even worse than you think in a way. So there's the mainland, and then to go to my island, you have to go on another island first, and then the other island, because it's connected through bridges. So it's not that bad for an island, because you have buses that come to the island. So it's still better, I think, than most countryside in France, for example. But at first, I actually loved it because coming from COVID, even being in the big cities, most of the places close really early, right? And it's not really advised to go out, to go where there's a lot of people. You go there, you almost get scared. Oh my God, I'm going to get corona. And then you go, all of a sudden it's calm. It's beautiful. The weather is beautiful in Okayama too. It's very sunny. And for the inconvenience about transportation, definitely, I don't have a driver's license. I don't even have a car. So it's definitely a challenge. But in a way, I think I needed that disconnection. Sometimes you're too connected to social media, everything. I want to be, but I think it just makes you reconnect with nature and makes you realize that it's also important to just sometimes slow down. I think that also made me realize that in tourism too, you need to just slow down sometimes and take your time. And that's how you appreciate things, I think, sometimes.
How long did you work on this revitalization program?
3 years.
3 years. So you started from that interview in this kind of break room, reading them a little French, and then suddenly you have to start making a plan. Was this for you also a way to discover a Bizen that you didn't know before?
Definitely, yeah. I learned so much while promoting it. Still to this day, I still learn a lot. So my first plan, my plan was really poor at first. I was very underprepared. I was like, what do I do? At first, it was very small scale. Like, I'm just going to promote very local stores. I'm just going to talk about these things, which is also a way to get a bit of followers on Instagram so that I can get people to check what I'm doing. And then slowly, while also renovating the villa that we were doing, because at the same time we were renovating it, so it's not easy. So I went to the local people and I just started to talk and ask a lot of questions. Just please tell me about your life here. Tell me about the culture here. And can I come on your boat? To fishermen, I'm like, can I come on your boat with you and just see you work and film it and see and learn about it? And they're like, sure. My first time, I don't understand anything that they're saying. Very strong dialect. And they're fishermen, so the way of talking is very harsh, although I'm used to it because in Hiroshima it's the same. But that taught me so much. And sorry, I think I forgot the first question.
No, I was wondering about you started with this kind of plan and then suddenly you discover Bizen and then your plan kind of changes as well.
Yeah.
Did you feel any sort of pressure from the city? Do you need to deliver certain results when you work in this program?
Not really, no pressure. I felt pressure from myself because I was always, I think that's really a me problem, but I was always feeling, oh my God, am I doing enough? How do I measure that it's actually working? And how can I just bring people? Because it's going to take time. Even if you talk about a city that's unknown, and even if people are like, oh, I'd love to go there, planning a trip to go to the countryside of Japan. People who come to Japan, they take time to plan their trip, right? They take sometimes a whole year, 2 years. So I'm not going to see the results immediately. And I don't know if I'm doing enough. I'm not getting any messages that say, oh, I want to visit for now at least. So I was really panicked and pressured. For a long time, I didn't know, am I doing a good job? And my partner was like, I think you are. And the people were like, no, you're good. Don't worry. But I didn't know if it was just them being polite, like Japanese people being like, oh, don't worry, or if it was true. But I think I realized that I'm actually not doing a bad job. So I didn't know that there was those, they call it jinji ido, like in Japan. So, the personal changes, like they change the staff. So I started in July, and then in April, they changed the staff. And my team didn't tell me about it. They just tell me, oh, by the way, like pretty much the whole branch of tourism is changing. So you're going to have new people with you. That's going to work.
So they rotate them within the city hall to other departments? Okay.
Yeah, all the time. I mean, once a year at least, you always do it. And it can even be several times a year sometimes. And I'm like, what do you mean? I'm barely getting used to this team finally. And now I have to work with different people. I don't know if I can communicate well with them. I don't know if they're going to like what I'm doing or approve of it. Anyway, I was panicked. We're doing like this otsukarekai, like we're drinking. And one of the guy who was at the interview starts to get really, really drunk. And he says to me, I'm really glad we picked you up. I'm glad that you came. And he was the one who was the most reticent, like the most hesitating to take me. Like when everyone was like, I think we should take her, he was the one being like, I don't know, man, her Japanese is far from being perfect. And then he was the one saying, yeah, I'm glad it was you. I'm glad we got to work together.
That's quite a compliment.
Yeah.
So you worked with the city on a regular basis, I imagine, giving them some reports from time to time. One of the big things you're working on is also, I guess, tackling this over-tourism problem that other areas in Japan have by trying to attract more people to the countryside.
Yeah.
I'm curious, when you work with a city and the tourism department of a city like that, what are the discussions? What are how do they perceive the problem, and what kind of solutions do they see to bringing people out of, let's say, Kyoto into Okayama and Bizen?
They had no much idea, really. I could see, especially Bizen, if you talk to Okayama prefecture, they have like plans, they have bus tours, they try to bring them. For example, the idea is hard to bring them from Kyoto directly to Bizen. So sometimes they make plan instead from Himeji. That's also getting more famous. So you're like, oh, you're going to Himeji Castle and all these places of tourism in Himeji. And we try to bring them to Bizen. But I would definitely say before I mean, I don't want to sound like cocky or anything, but they didn't know much really when I arrived. And I had to be the one explaining to them that we should definitely take these opportunities of the surrounding cities, get help from Okayama Prefecture as well. They would sometimes get a subsidy, mostly money to do it, but they didn't know much how to do it. I had to be the one kind of like, I have ideas for you. I know how to do it kind of, and organize, for example, fam tours and all of this. But they didn't even know what was a fam tour, so I had to explain it to them. But once you tell them, they're excited and they really want to do it. And then they're like really curious and they really ask you. Again, depending on who you're talking to, some of them won't be really open to it, but some of them are really open. They want to listen to you. They go with you to these meeting with, for example, I'm going to go to Okayama Prefecture and I'm going to discuss how do we do that together and with other cities in Okayama Prefecture, not just Bizen, but all of us together. How do we do it? And they will come with me and support me as well during those meetings. So helpful.
What are the kind of things that surprised you when you had the opportunity to see those meetings, those cities coming together, working with like local governments on kind of different levels?
Surprising? Okay, how sometimes administration can be incredibly slow. Like it's really difficult sometimes during the meeting it's okay, but it's difficult to come to an actual decision at the end of a meeting. I think it's not just true for my case. I think in Japan it must be probably like a thing, but they never at the end of a meeting just decide of something. Okay, we are doing this. It's always like, oh yeah, that would be nice, this would be nice, but they don't really decide about anything. And that was really surprising for me, because I think in France we would definitely at the end of a meeting be like, okay, this is what we're doing, we're going with this plan, let's go. They wouldn't, and instead would plan for the next meeting. And that was really surprising for me.
So when you take this into consideration, working 3 years for the program in the end is not too long, because it takes time for the ideas you maybe have in the first year to finally come true in the third year. Does this program have like a limit in time, or you did 3 years? Is that the maximum? Or
yeah, exactly. It's like 1 year contract that you can renew, but it's only up to 3 years. After that, they stop. Of course, because it's all paid by city hall, so taxes and public money. So people at first also, they don't really like this program, the locals.
Really?
Yeah, a lot of them think it's just a way for people who are, I'm going to say it in a terrible way, but unemployed people to just get money and chill, because they don't police you all the time. You do have to write reports at the end of each month saying exactly what you've been doing each day. So from 9 to 12, I was doing this. And then from 12 to 5, I was doing that. Like every month you have to write everything that you're doing every day. But they don't really check up on you. So technically, I'm sure that some people must lie when they're doing it. Because of that, sometimes city people are like, isn't it a waste of our taxes? You know, and especially in Bizen, the previous mayor, so usually you would have like maybe 5 to 6 people in the revitalization team. He took like 20 people.
Okay, for
just
it's
in
a
Bizen.
relatively small city area, 20 people. Okay.
Yeah, I think he really just wanted to bring a lot of people that could maybe tell creative ideas, anything to help Bizen. But, you know, in 20 people, you get some people who are great, some people, why are they there? I don't know. The mayor was just like, oh, I like your face, I like what you're saying, so I'm just going to sign you a contract and we're good, which brought a lot of problems. But anyway, that made local people kind of doubt a lot about this program. So...
But then other people like the fishermen and so on, they were very happy to have you on board and kind of show you around and get you to taste their fish and show you what it's like. And
yeah, I think when they see you being active and they see you trying and they see you actually, you know, I'm with my camera, I'm filming it, and then they can check it on social network, which that helps a lot to have SNS, because they can actually check what you're doing. And then they see other people reacting to it, saying like, oh, that sounds so fun, I'd love to do that. That brings them a lot of joy, I think. And they see hope, I think, because they told me, they were like, I really need people to know about the local culture here. It's really interesting, but Japanese people, unfortunately, don't really care about it too much. And so they understood, like, I think our best hope is to maybe target foreigners to do it, but they don't speak a word of English. And so that's when I come in and I'm like, I can be the bridge for you. I can be the bridge between you and these foreigners. And I'm going to try my best to learn all of the local dialect So I'm going to do my best and I'm going to do it. So let me study with you and let's do it together. And they see you actually coming, actually doing it. And I think, well, they notice like, oh, she's doing it.
One of the things you mentioned originally got you interested in Bizen was also the opportunity to get this old house from your partner's grandmother's friend or neighbor, which you ended up doing. And you mentioned later that you were renovating this while doing this job in the revitalization program. Tell me about this house. What kind of house is it? Where is it? And what have you done with it?
So it's on Kashirajima, on the island. It's like 5 minutes away from where I live. It's very close to the beach. It's really big for Japanese standard size of houses. It's quite big. It has a big garden, very traditional Japanese. And then inside you do have some parts that are very European, because I think the man who used to live there just loved European culture. So it has this vibe of Taisho Roman kind of. It was already very beautiful, but some places needed a bit of renovation. So there's a part that has like tatami. Those didn't need any renovation. It was just perfect, really. And then the living room, the bedroom was just a little old and we had to renovate there. We started DIY, but then it was just too time consuming. We're not good at it. And also the house looks very luxurious. And I'm just scared of making it look cheaper with my non-skilled hands. So we decided that instead we're going to take a loan and just renovate it, ask for subsidy to government as well. And it took us like a year to really renovate it, learn how to take care of the garden. My partner's the one who's doing all the garden, like all the pine, the bonsai trimming, all of that. Thank you, YouTube, and local people who taught all of
The neighbors passing by saying, "Oh, you should cut it a little bit differently."
So it's actually a little bit hidden. It's on a hill. You really have to look for it. Some people who had been living on the island forever didn't even know that it existed. It's very hidden. That's why we called it Villa Shinobi, because it's really, you can't see it at first glance. And now we've done a private villa there, so people can come and they have the whole villa for themselves. And then we thought, if we just do that, it's kind of an Airbnb. It's not that special. It's beautiful, but it's not that special. I really wanted to use it as a platform to connect local people and us, and then the clients. And also so that we can all kind of a win-win-win-win situation. Like I win, the client win, the local people can also enjoy this. So what I did was I was going to those local people, potters I had met through my work at the city hall, fishermen. And I would say, what about if we made like some kind of tour together, and I could bring the clients on the boat and do the translating or interpreting all of it with you, and you could explain what you're doing. And then same, we could go to a potter's atelier and just see them do a performance. Maybe they could try as well the pottery, all of that, so that they could discover the local culture. And the locals loved it. They were super in for it. The city hall also thought that it was a great idea to make myself trusted by the locals, promote the local culture, and being okay, maybe also financially as well. So yeah, and now it's been open for 2 years. And and half of our clients are Japanese and half of our clients are actually foreigners.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm curious, I want to go back a little bit to the renovation process, because renovating akiyas is kind of discussed so much. And a lot of people dream about the DIY approach, but you were like, actually, that's a beautiful house. I'm not so sure I can renovate it up to its standards. How did you perceive that renovation process? What was the moment where you were like, no, let's get professionals in and let's make this very nice again?
I think we were doing the wallpaper and we were tearing it up. And it was taking so much more time than if a pro did it, I'm sure. Like we were like, what are we doing? Like we were really exhausted. We had no experience in business, so obviously we don't know if we're doing the right thing. We're doubting ourselves all the time, taking decisions about the designs, like even the wallpaper, like it looks pretty on the book, but is it going to fit with it? Are the clients going to love it? We're overthinking. But yeah, definitely doing the wallpaper, trying to do it and thinking, if we do it by ourselves, it's very humid country. It might get like really bad very, very quickly. I don't want the clients to feel that. I feel like, okay, if we're doing it, let's do it like, how can I say, like, do it well. Just like, even if it's going to cost more, it's a risk, but I really don't want to do it wrong. And so,
Was it difficult? You mentioned you got some kind of grant from the government as well, because it's like a historical property, and to get like a renovation company specialized in these old kominkas. Was this kind of complex for you to navigate, or?
So it's not considered a kominka because the house was built 30 years ago. So it's not that old. It looks traditional, but the person built it 30 years ago. So it's not. But basically right now they're just giving a lot of subsidy, the Japanese government, if your plan makes sense. And if we talk about that kind of stuff, like, oh, we're going to actually help revitalize the region as well. It's not just for us. When you suggest that, they're more inclined to help you. Completely honestly, the whole paperwork thing, I let my partner take care of it because I knew that my Japanese was just not up to it. So,
and now you're the owner of a kind of ryokan, a guest house on an island, and you finished your revitalization program.
Yeah.
And you recently started working at a museum, a newly reopened museum.
Yeah.
Can you tell me about that new experience that you're having now?
Yeah. So I finished my contract in June, and I was really worried about my work visa. Because again, I'm not married. We're doing a lot of things together with my partner, but we're not married. And I really wanted to get a job that was still making sense in what I was doing. And I started to work as a freelance as well, but it's hard, to get the business owner kind of visa. And I heard about this museum opening and I'm like, that sounds like a great opportunity. I love art and I can still be helpful, I think. And we can make it foreigner friendly, so I can translate everything. We could really make it a platform, like a hub to bring in a lot of people. It's also right in the center of Bizen, right next to the station, so easy to access. So I saw it as an opportunity. And the person I used to work with in tourism, he moved right when I finished, right before I finished, he moved as a responsible person for the museum. So I knew him and I just said, like, do you think I could work at the museum? And he was like, yeah, sure. And I did the interview officially. I got the job. I work full-time there. So I go there every day. I help them translate all the panels, the captions, all of the things that is like inside the museum. And I receive all the foreign clients who come. I guide them a little bit through the museum. And at the end of September, I'm actually going to Osaka World Expo with some people from the museum as well to promote the museum and the city as well.
So you help a little bit, kind of continuing with the tourism promotion. It's a museum that I think focuses a lot on ceramics because that's what the area is famous for.
Yeah.
Kind of promoting ceramics before and now working in a museum that does this, do you feel like you had to become a sort of small expert and like learning all these things to be able to explain them and share that knowledge with tourists coming and passing by?
Yeah, definitely. I think those 3 years really helped a lot for me. That I don't think I could have done it. I wouldn't call myself an expert, but I think I did specialize in Bizen culture. And I think that helped me so much. Also, it's just kind of really fulfilling because all the people who come to the museum, a lot of locals people come, a lot of ceramicists as well, they come. And I just know half of them, like except for all the people, of course, coming outside of Okayama. But I just know a lot of people who come. It just feels really like fulfilling experience. Like, oh, I've worked those 3 years. I learned a lot about it. And it's all coming together when all the artists come and they're like, oh, hey, Victoria. Oh, hi. How are you doing? And it's just so I'm glad I've done all those 3 years learning about it. Definitely.
You briefly mentioned before that what's special about the Okayama earthenware is the way it's done.
Yeah.
It's still done the same way as 800 years ago. You mentioned the kilns are special, also the wood used, red pine, I think. Can you tell me more about that pottery? And if people want to go and explore this, how can they appreciate it more?
So I think when you first see it, because it's brown, they don't use glaze. So at first when you see it's very rough, they use clay that they take themselves either in the mountains or in the rice fields. So they use that, they dry it out, and then they leave it sometimes for 10 years to dry. And then they re-wet it, and then they re-dry it, and they use it again. So when you first see it, maybe I didn't think at first glance that it was the most beautiful pottery ever, because now you can see so many ceramics, so many different potteries that are like colorful, very glazed, very shiny and beautiful. And it's not like that. It's very rough. Some people would call it very wabi-sabi kind of pottery. Some potters hate that, actually. I think to appreciate it, you have to definitely know about the process of making it. You have to go to someone's, I think, place and see how they make it, see maybe them drying out the clay, see maybe where they take it, see them making it, and then how it takes shape. I think when you see an artist actually making it, and maybe if you want to experience it as well and try it yourself and see that it's not that easy either, I think you definitely appreciate it more. I think that's one thing I explained to the city hall at first. They were like, we were going at events, so many events we went together, and we were just putting the ceramic like that. And all the explanations are in Japanese. And I'm like, you need to explain to people how it's made, because if you just see it, I don't think they're going to appreciate it that much. But if they understand all the process of making it, they'll definitely enjoy it more.
Yeah, right. Because if you go to this a beautiful museum and everything is behind glass, and you can, maybe if it's only in Japanese, you can't even read it as a foreign tourist. And even, let's say, as a local tourist, and you're able to read it, it's like, this was made in this year by this potter using this clay. Something is missing, unless you're into pottery and you're really able to see the details. Oh, he had to use this technique to make this kind of shape and so on. So that was kind of your starting point, to translate everything and to make sure that the information is accessible. Is it easy to go and visit the potters and the people that make it today?
In a way, yes and no. I think if you just go by yourself, a lot of them don't speak English, like I said, so it might be difficult to communicate, but they're really open that way. They will be like, okay, sure, go ahead. They can't speak, but they'll try to.
So it's not like a place where you can go as a tourist and make it, but just friendly people that may open their doors to showing you there. Are there many left that do it traditionally?
Yeah, definitely. Everyone pretty much still does it traditionally. Some of them use now electric kilns as well and gas kilns, but they never stop using the fire as well. When they don't have enough money, because like I said, you fire it for like sometimes 10 days. It's huge. You have to use a lot of wood. 24 hours is a very difficult process. It can cost a lot of money as well. And if you don't sell a lot of pieces, it can be difficult. So some of them, they just gather and they burn it together in the same kiln. Like, so 5 people will just burn it like together and fire it. Yeah. And it's great.
Who buys those traditionally made potteries nowadays? I imagine some of them are exhibited in museums, some maybe collectors. But if these potters want to make a living out of it, you need more buyers than just museums and collectors.
Right. So people just come. So all of the place. So you have Imbe, you have the museum, and then right next to it, the whole street is galleries. All of it is just galleries full of Bizen pottery, and you can just go in and buy any pieces you want. The way they would do it would be like, some of their pieces would be very big and very expensive. And sometimes they try to make some that are way cheaper. Very cheap if you consider how much time it took to make, but that's the only way they find. And then sometimes they make contracts with restaurants to try and like have regular clients as well. Some of them, they do these little, the gachapon that you find everywhere. Some of them do these little pieces where you can put it in airports and all of it. I would say though, a lot of them, it's hard to make it. I think you have to kind of be very special, but like any artist really, but you have to be very different, very special. Maybe you have to do a demonstration that is very unique and you have to show yourself, or be good at SNS and then have something to show other than just the pottery.
Basically create a brand around the potter.
Absolutely,
in a way. So how is this new job for you now at the museum? Working at museums is kind of very specific, I guess. You have also a lot of procedures on the one hand, the tourists on the other hand, the promotion. You're like a cornerstone of that neighborhood now. How does that feel for you? Is it just a continuation of your previous work, or is it completely different?
It's quite different, and at the same time continuation. I would say I feel less free. I do miss the freedom of the revitalization job, because you really don't except when they ask you to come for events, or even except when you have a really specific project, you're really free. If I want to wake up at 10 and just go see a fisherman to film and everything, it's still going to be work at the end. I'm going to have to translate and everything, but it's very free. Now I have to go at work every day on a certain time, and I have to be very polite in Japanese to speak to the clients. They put me a lot at the reception, which at first I didn't want to be. But in the end, I'm happy that I am. My Japanese is much better as well. It's because it's countryside. I would say it's very slow in a way still, and they're very nice. The people, the staff people, I would have imagined it would be more harsh and very difficult. It's not like that. People are very nice. People are very, I don't want to say chill, but very chill for especially for Japanese work. It's very chill, definitely. I've been doing the translation, but you see, for example, they didn't put it yet on the walls and everything. So it's still full in Japanese. It's gonna come, but let's just say it's very slow, that part. So
it's a Bizen pace.
Bizen pace, very much.
You've been there now for 3 years, 4 years nearly, or going on 4 years. Does this now feel like a new home for you? Is this the place for you in Japan?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, it feels, I don't say more home than my own home, but I came in Japan, I was 23 years old. It's been 5 years, and I was still a student at the time when I left France. Now I have a work here, I have a community here, I have my friends here, I have a lot that you would consider home, basically. So I would definitely consider it one of my home. I would defend it like it's my own community. Like, Hinase, now when I'm talking about Hinase, I'm like, oh, look, it's our local festival. It's our Bon Odori. It's like, when I talk about it, I always say it's our, because I feel like I'm part of it as well. And I think local people, for most of them, I'm sure that they feel that way too.
So now it's up to other people to come and visit and explore. If you had to recommend, like someone has an opportunity to go, how long is the ideal trip to Bizen, and where should they go?
I think they definitely should consider coming 3 days. That's what we suggest too. For people who come to the villa, they sleep like 2 nights, and that gives you the time to explore a little bit by yourself and also to do a tour, because I definitely do advise to take a guide with you, because the transportations are not easy and no explanation in English in many places. I would say having a guide, it doesn't even have to be me. Some other people that are great are doing it as well. Take a guide who will translate, who will interpret for you so that you can speak to local people. And I would say definitely if you stay 3 days, you can see all the parts of Bizen. You can see Hinase, which is so beautiful, and the food is great, and the fishermen are super nice. So you will have a great time there. And then you'll go to Imbe. You will see all the pottery places, learn about it, and see the museum. And then I would say if you have time to see Shizutani, it would be really amazing. And besides, if you take 3 days, you also have time to explore very close other cities like Setochi, that is known for katana, which is beloved by foreigners.
And lemons.
And lemons as well.
So I love lemons. Did you think that 4 years or 5 years after coming to Japan, you'd have your own guest house, you'd be working at a museum, having promoted the city and kind of community, and be living there?
No, not at all. I think I thought I was going to stay 1 year. I thought I was going to have a little bit of fun, go to karaoke, maybe izakaya, talk to people, probably not learn Japanese like that well in a year, especially. And then when I started to work as an English teacher, I imagined that maybe I would stay, not stuck, but in that field. I would never imagine that I would be where I am today. In a way, I think it makes sense with what I've studied in sociology and all of it. It kind of all comes together. But I could never imagine that I would be here, like, not at all.
So now that you are here and you kind of have found your little corner of Japan that you call home, what would you like to do to continue promoting Bizen, to continue bringing more people there in the coming years?
So I actually started my own business as a freelance. It's called Mebe. I'm going to make a website and I'm going to offer tours in Bizen. I'm going to continue working with local people, always listening, because I think listening to what they want as well is the most important thing. Obviously, I can't just come here and be like, oh, hey, let me be a savior and let me just do whatever I want to do. It can't be like that. So continue to ask them what they're interested in, what they would like to do with foreigners as well. And just continue my work on my social network as well, just continue to promote it. And yeah, I would love to organize more tours as well with media, just bring a bit of attention there and continue to do it respectfully, really. Because importantly, I think doing it in a sustainable way is what keeps the place also very unique, special, and authentic.
You mentioned work with media, like Japanese TV or things like that?
Japanese TV would be great, but I think I'm going to keep on focusing on foreigners, because unfortunately, I think Japanese people just do not care that much about Bizen Yaki or about local culture, unfortunately. I think for them, they want something from outside. But I think right now, foreigners, after coming to Japan, maybe especially 1, 2, 3, 4 times, maybe they're not interested that much anymore in just Osaka, big cities. Maybe they want to see something a little more, I don't want to say it's not authentic to go to Osaka, but I just came back from market and, it's very different.
It's made for tourists.
Yeah, exactly. There's a bit of a lack of authenticity. And I think people who look for that, I would definitely want to offer that. So I think media also from foreign countries, we've done that already with City Hall. We've invited some people, did some fam tours, and it's brought a lot of French people, actually.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Would you say that these are the biggest group of foreign tourists, French, or yeah?
I think right now, yes. Especially to the villa, and then I give them tour with me because I'm French, and they don't usually find a lot of people speaking. I mean, I don't want to lie or anything, but I'm probably the only French person in the whole Bizen.
It is possible. Maybe there's someone else living somewhere in a kind of rural community that is maybe less public, but
so
So you've got plenty left to do in Bizen, bringing in more tourists sustainably. You mentioned sustainability as an important pillar. How do you find that balance? Where do you draw the line of this is a sustainable way of doing this, and if we go this way, it suddenly kind of gets out of control?
Well, obviously, tourism can never be completely sustainable and green. We all know people will come by airplane and will use a car probably to travel around the city because it's not easy to just travel by train, right? But there is a way to do it by you don't make up, for example, just a picture spot that people will just come in one place and just come there and take a picture and leave. I only want to introduce people who will take the time to take a tour. What we are doing is we're taking a tour in people's everyday life. I'm telling people, they're not going to be doing anything special for you, the local people that we're going to meet. They are working. They are doing what they're usually doing, and we're just guests that are going to watch and ask questions. We're not building something just to say, we're not going to see someone dressed as a potter or samurai saying, oh, hey, welcome, and dancing. None of it. Just we're going, and they know that we're coming, but it's going to be very just everyday life for them, and you just observe it. So I think that's one way to keep it kind of sustainable. They're doing what they're doing usually. We're just observers and guests, really.
In small groups, not large buses, and no photo spots.
Yeah, large buses, sometimes it's just inevitable. Some people ask my help sometimes as a guide for big groups, but I do want to always explain, that's not the priority, because when you do that also, it's very difficult. You can't bring 30 people in one person's atelier or something. You can't do that. And it's going to make them tired, a little bit feel the pressure, especially in the countryside. They're not used to see that many people. All of a sudden, if they have 30 people, none of them speak their language, it's too much. So I always say, just private small groups is always a better idea, I think.
Victoria, thank you so much for sharing your passion with Bizen, the area where you live, where hopefully a few more tourists will come and explore. Do you feel like we covered it pretty well? Was there something that is important for you that we didn't touch upon that you would have liked to share?
Oh, I'll probably remember when I'm leaving this place, but it's always like that. But no, I think it was a great opportunity for me to talk about it. I think it's pretty visible, but I love talking about it, and I'm happy that I have an ear to listen. So
we'll make sure all the links to your work, the villa, your Instagram account, and such are in the description, so people can see more about Bizen and maybe get in touch if they want to visit by themselves.
Thank you.
Again, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you everyone for listening and watching. This was Unpacking Japan, and we'll see you in the next episode. Bye. Thank you so much for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed this episode as much as I did. Please hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on future conversations. And we'd love to hear from you. Share your thoughts in the comment section down below. And if you enjoyed this episode, here are a couple more that we think you'll enjoy. Thanks again for your support, and we'll see you next time.